Okay, so before I start this video, I got something I want to say. If you don't like Blonde by Frank Ocean, because I mean with this, I mean everybody knows who was a Frank Ocean fan. That was this whole thing. Frank Ocean came out with his first major label project, Channel Orange, to, I mean, critical, fan acclaim, everything. Frank left us for some time, left us for a little while, and then came back with 2 albums, one a visual one, which even that one had some great parts to it, and then a feature full-length album, Blonde. And there were some people who were just saying that he fell off and all this other shit, and I'm just like, bitch, how? Like, for those of you who don't like Blonde, like, did you not listen to it all the way? Did you not really listen? Were you mad that day? Like, what happened? Did it trigger you? Like, did it make you, like, emotionally, you know? That's probably what it is. It was too vulnerable for your ass. Whatever it was. I'm sorry. Blonde is an amazing project. I'm gonna tell you, even before we get into the video, I'm gonna give, I mean, the albums are pretty much a 9 out of 10 for me. Yeah. So, I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all. I mean, Frank Ocean hasn't fell off. And this is all because I had a conversation with a girl about this. Let me tell you, I almost left because I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I said, we don't need to have this conversation because if you don't like Blonde, there's something wrong with you. Frank Ocean is one of those artists. He's one of those artists where you can't really compare their projects because he completely reinvents himself every time. He's like Kendrick Lamar to me. Like, on Kendrick, like, I don't know if y'all understand this, but this is the best way to say it. Kendrick Lamar on every album is still him, but he's different. He shows a different side to himself. He shows a different, you know, he shows how multifaceted he is, and in the same way Frank Ocean does. Frank Ocean on this album. Anyway, I'm just gonna get to the review, but I'm just letting y'all know, if you do not like Blonde, there's something wrong with your ears. Point blank. Plain and simple. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big O, here with another review. Today we are reviewing Frank Ocean's Blonde, his second feature full-length project. Frank Ocean, the man, the myth, the songwriting legend. Man, it's just, I mean, when this project came out, it was just like, finally, you know, it was one of those things. It was just like, dude, like, what's going on? And then I'm not even gonna lie. You know what's bad is, like, there are a lot of people who love Channel Orange that didn't like Blonde. It took me a minute to really appreciate Channel Orange for what it was. I think when I first, I'm sorry, I keep looking down at my phone because I'm trying to pull up the album. I should have had it pulled up already. When I first heard Channel Orange, I mean, of course I loved Thinking About You. I loved Fertilizer, Sierra Leone, Sweet Life. I loved Pyramids. Pink Matter was cool, and then I think that was really it. But then after, but I think what was it? When did Blonde come out? Because Blonde came out last year, 2016. I'd probably say 6 months prior to that, I went back to Channel Orange, and I listened to it again, and I came back in, and I was like, okay, I was like, wait a minute, Super Rich Kids is amazing. And then I actually like went into the lyrics of Super Rich Kids, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this shit is deep as hell. Even Pilot Jones, I mean Crack Rock, I mean it's still not one of my favorites, but Crack Rock is cool. Lost is amazing. I love Lost. White with John Mayer's cool. You got Monks, Bad Religion. Anyway, I need to do a whole nother separate review of that album. But anyway, but then you have then Frank gives us Blonde, right? He comes in, you know, years later. What is it? 5 years later to be exact. Because Channel Orange was released in 2012, and Blonde came out 2016. Actually, no, 4 years. 4 years. Okay, so Frank left us for 4 years. Comes back with Blonde, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's like a completely different sound, and it completely throws you off. Because I mean, as soon as you start the album, you hear this. And it just, I mean, it's just like, it's so smooth, it's so like, and then the fact that he chose to do like the shrill voice, like, I don't know, it's like, it just all fits together, you know. But Frank is pretty much in that song just talking about materialism, hedonism, but I mean, once again, I mean, there with the amazing wordplay. One of the lines she says she wants a ring like Carmelo. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like, okay, Carmelo doesn't have a ring. And so it's like, but when you think about Carmelo's career, it's like Carmelo's pretty much one of the greatest basketball players. I mean, is one of the greatest basketball players that came in the school of LeBron and them, but he's one of the only ones that doesn't have a ring. And so it's like, but it's like, you have niggas that will vouch for Melo, just like they vouch for AI, and that he doesn't have a ring, but he's still a great basketball player. But it's like, in saying that, it's like, want a ring like Carmelo, it's like, okay, it's like he feels like it gets to that point, and I'm pretty sure Melo feels like this, where it's like, okay, people say I'm great, I have a lot of people that love me, but it's like I feel like I need a ring to be able to solidify that. And so it's cool to think about that, because it's like, okay, when you think about a girl, it's like the ring is what solidifies the relationship. Like, me and you are gonna be together forever, at least to some women. In this, you know, some women who choose to live within this very Americanized, you know, culture or whatever. There are some who don't, you know, and you know, of course, there's no shame on either side, but yeah, pretty much he hits us with this, and it's just like, it's like his clever wordplay, and I mean, he's just talking about materialism. He's talking about, you know, just the things in society that we look at. I say other standout tracks, Ivy, I say Pink plus White, Solo, Skyline 2, Self Control, Nights. Oh my gosh, Nights. I'd probably say White Ferrari, Siegfried, Godspeed. And that's, I mean, that's pretty much, that's almost the entire album, except for a couple of short songs. Even Andre 3000's, I would say Andre 3000 solo reprise. I say the beat kind of got on my nerves a little bit. I mean, it was very different. It was very different. It was very performative. It was very like, you know, it was like, I mean, it gave me very like spoken word, like kind of performance art vibes or whatever. But I just didn't like that second part, you know, just that beat. I don't know. But I would say that I definitely loved it for the statement. You know, I definitely loved it for the statement. And I feel like the beat, I respect it for what it was, because it was like, okay, Andre's just coming in. I'm coming in to spit some bars, say what I need to say, you know, but I'm talking about some important shit. You know, he talks about, you know, kids dying. These kids who keep getting shot, these black kids who keep getting shot by police officers. He talks about it. You know, he talks about, let me see. No more. So hard to wear polo. He said, when I hear that another kid is shot by the popo, it ain't even an event no more. Solo that no more high horses, so hard to wear polo. When I do, I cut the pony off. Now there's a hole that once was a logo. How fitting. So low that I can give a fuck about what is trending. Trying to cut down on spending regardless of winning, instead of pretending and bending over backwards. Over half of these hoes had work done, saying they want something real from a man, just saying that we being real persons. I hate that it's like this. I feel for you, and I don't know what it's like with a skirt on, so pardon me if I'm being insensitive, but darling, it's only worse, sons. So it's just like, I mean, he's talking about like how he's I think when it comes to solo, like, and I think what Andre specifically saying when he's solo is that when you're by yourself, you kind of look at the world. You kind of look at the world from the outside looking in. So it's just like you just kind of hang out with yourself. So it's like you're kind of like not involved in the world, but you're looking at it. And you're constantly critiquing it. So you're like watching, you're watching Insecure on HBO. You know, you're looking at your friends on social media. You're looking at, people on Instagram. You know, you're looking at people on Snapchat going to the club and shit like that. And it's just like you're kind of looking at everything. And you're kind of giving this critique, but it's like, he said solo that you don't even care about what's trending. It's like you get to the point where it's just like, you really get to analyze it, and you don't get, because I mean, I think there's a point where you kind of get sucked in. Like if you're involved in it, you kind of get sucked in to the point where sometimes you don't even realize why you're doing it. But it's like when you really get to sit back and analyze, when you're by yourself, it's just like, okay, why am I getting up and going out and doing this? I was doing this just because it was trending. I was doing this just because it was popular. I don't know. That's kind of the feel that I get for it. I don't know. Sometimes I hate that I go so deep with it, but I don't know. I feel like Frank Ocean is just one of those deep thinking people, and so is Andre 3000. You're so in, Frank. Let's get an attic and hide out for about 2 weeks. Anyway, so my standout tracks. So I said, so we already talked about Nikes. Then there's Ivy.
I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing. I had no chance to prepare. I couldn't see you coming.
And so it's just like, it's so crazy. Like Ivy starts, like it's just, the lyrics are very straightforward. It's like, I thought I was dreaming when you said you loved me. I had no chance to prepare. I didn't see you coming. And so it was just like, it's kind of this thing where it's like the song just kind of talks about this love and how it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it was just like, but it was like it's like he's glad that this person is finally saying it, because it's like, in a sense, it's like you've always felt that way about them, but you never got that feeling from them until you were just waiting for them to reciprocate. And then when it finally comes, it's like it just comes out of nowhere. So yeah, I mean, Ivy, I love Ivy. And I mean, the beat is just one of those like innocent, You know, I think this album with the beats and I think sonically, I think it really captures how innocent love is. I think throughout the entire record. And then you got one of my favorite. I'd probably say my one of the two favorite records that I have on this project. This song just like you play it, just puts a smile on your face.
That's the way every day goes. Every time we've no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow, it's the same way you showed me. Nod my head, don't close my eyes. Halfway on a slow move. It's the same way you showed me.
That song alone gives this out like just on the strength of that song alone, this album is at least a 3 or 4. Just with that song by itself. Produced by Pharrell, has vocals by Beyonce at the end that are beautiful. I love Pink Plus White. I mean, it just talks about an innocent relationship. And just how and just talking about like how it talks about like how things in the world are constant, that they can't be changed. And he's like, and I don't know, it reads to me because it talks about you know, like things in the world that are just constant, you know, that or things that in the world that just happen. He was like, if the sky is pink and white, you know, sometimes the sky is pink and we can't control it and we don't even know why. And he's like just the same way you showed me love. And so it's just like, and so it was like your love was just there. I don't know why it was there. I don't know, you know, how. I don't know, you know, it was just like, I think it's something because the love is so amazing is the reason why you start to have all these questions and realizations. You know, it's just like where did this amazing thing come from? But it's just like you showed me this love that is just so constant and just so unexplainable but so amazing at the same time. It makes me feel this way. Pink Plus White, man, I love it. One of the reasons why Pharrell is the GOAT. Then you have Be Yourself.
Many college students have gone.
It's kind of Frank Ocean's mom just talking about, you know, just warning him about college and getting older and stuff like that. Then you have the song
Hand me a towel, I'm dirty dancing by myself, gone off tabs. That acid, form me a circle, watch my Jagger. Might lose my jacket and hit a solo one time. We too loud in public, them police turned down a function. Now we outside and the time is perfect. Forgot to tell you, gotta tell you how much I vibe with you. And we don't gotta be solo. And I stay away from highways, my eyes like the...
And so this song just kind of talks about, like, you know, I think Frank like going out, you know, but he kind of constantly plays on the word solo. And so but just talking about being by himself, and but he's constantly doing these things, you know, like he talks about how he wants to smoke the person out and different things like that. And but he keeps talking about just how he's just solo. Like at the end of the day, he still ends up smoking weed by himself, and he's just alone. You can kind of really feel like, and I don't know, the tone of the song isn't you know, because it's a kind of a sad song because he's talking about being by himself, but the tone isn't as sad. Like it kind of has a chipper feel to it, and so it's just like, and it's kind of just gives off the vibe. It's like, okay, I'm solo, but I've kind of gotten used to it, but you know, I'd rather not be solo anymore. But if I have to, then you know, I'll just deal with it. And so, yeah, then you have Skyline 2.
This is joy, this is summer.
Just a beautiful song.
Keep alive, stay alive. Got your medal on, we're alone. time.
So it's just, you know, just a beautiful song. Kind of, I mean, a real short one. But I think it was talking, you know, he talks about, you know, got your medal on, we're alone, making sweet love, taking time. And then just like, but gosh, until God strikes us. And so like, I don't know. So I think I read, because sometimes I read the Genius lyrics, especially with Frank Ocean, because this shit is just so deep. Some people were thinking, you know, he was talking about somebody in a married relationship, you know, because God might strike them down and different things like that. But yeah, I just always thought it was just a cool little in between song. Yeah, self-control.
Poolside convo about your summer last night. Ooh.
Self-control.
About your summer last night.
I give you no play. Could I make it shy last night? Could I make it shy on the last night? Could we make it in? Do we have time?
I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams tonight. Noses.
Anyway, but that song is crazy, because it's like, I think it talks about like this friend that Frank likes. This friend that Frank likes, and they kind of have had these weird interactions in the past, and so it's caused them not to be that close anymore. He says, I know you thought it was crazy when I came to visit, because you see me like a UFO, which is never. But yeah, and so it's just pretty much just about them being on a different page, about them not being able to, about, you know, it's like one of them likes the other and the other is like nah, and then when it switches, you know, it's crazy because I think by the end of the song, it's like he really does like the person. He really does want to show his love for the person, but it's just they have somebody else, and so it's just like, it's pretty much talks about like being in love with somebody that you can't have, somebody that just in a general sense it just doesn't work out with, but you care about them so much, you have such a deep connection with them that you're pretty much willing to put yourself on the line. You're willing to put you're willing to self-deprecate in order to be in their life in any kind of capacity, even if it's just as a friend or something like that. And it's really like, he says, keep a place for me, I'll sleep between y'all, it's nothing. Keep a place for me, it's nothing, it's no thing. And so it's just like, I'll try to sleep, I'll stay close no matter what, hoping that there's hope, which is so crazy because I've gone through that personally, and it's really a sad place to be, you know. And I mean, my thing was, it wasn't about like breaking up a happy home, but it was about staying a friend to somebody, staying a friend to someone, despite how I felt, putting my feelings on the shelf to be able to be the friend that I needed to be for them, and not losing the friend that I had found in them. And so, but yeah, this song is deep as hell. Self-control. But then, I mean, just sonically, like, I just love it, man. Like, listen to this.
I know you got someone coming. It's spitting game. Know you got it.
Yo, I'm like, for the people who get it, like, y'all get it. And for the people who don't, like, I'm sorry. Good Guy was an okay song, but I love Nights.
Round the city, round the clock. Everybody needs you. No, you can't make everybody equal. Although you got boo-boo family. That's what she vacation, my everyday shit, every night shit, every day shit, every night.
Anyway, but like I was saying, with Frank Ocean, like we all know that he's from New Orleans, Louisiana, and you know, in Blonde, he chose to go more into depth about some of his relationships, and like he kind of dealt with some of his relationships and how they got affected by the flood and different things like that. And he fucking kills it. Like in this song Nights, like it's like 3 different like track parts, but they're so good. Like
every night fucks every day up. Every day patches the night up. Oh God, you should match it, it's that KO. No white lighters till I fuck my 28th up.
But yeah, I mean, he pretty much just talks about like how he's dealing with addiction. He's dealing with having to, you know, live with somebody else during this whole relocation thing after Hurricane Katrina hit his home. And so living with somebody, like finding somebody in Houston and dating them and living in their apartment. He said, staying with you when I didn't have an address, fucking knowing you when I didn't own a mattress. And so it's just like the way he just flowed that shit, and just like Frank Ocean with his lyricism, he's always been able to say the deepest shit in the simplest ways. Like he'll put a few simple words together, but the way that he does it, it has so much meaning behind it. You know, it's just like you automatically, it's like, damn, like, okay, you know, he's talking about being in a relationship with somebody and he has absolutely nothing and is completely dependent on them, and you know, just all the shit that comes with that. So yeah, Nights is a dope ass song. Let me see. And then you got Pretty Sweet, which is cool. I really didn't care for it too much. And then you know, you had the Facebook story. The guy was kind of talking about how social media, you know, the girl, you know, was kind of wanted him to like add her on Facebook or whatever, and he didn't care. He was just like, I'm in a relationship with you, like what does it matter? But she ends up breaking up with him because of it, which kind of gives you, I mean, I hate when people try to bash like the whole social media age, because I mean, this is just where life is going, you know. And every generation critiques the advances of the next one. But I will say that, I mean, every advancement has its pros and its cons, and I would say that that's definitely a con, you know, for people to let social media run their relationships so much. And I think Frank was just trying to comment on that. And then you got the song White Ferrari.
Bad luck to talk on these rides. Mine on the road, your dilated eyes. Watch the clouds float, white Ferrari. Had a good time, 16, how was I supposed to know anything?
This song is so crazy, man. It's just like it's like he's in a car riding with somebody. They're both high, and it's like he's dropping them off somewhere, I think, for maybe like a long trip or something like that. He talks about like he said you left when I forgot to speak. So it was like he forgot to say something to them before they left. He said, so I text the speech, lesser speeds, Texas speeds, yes. Basic takes its toll on me, eventually, yes. And so it's like just the way he talks a lot about cocaine and how he's had a cocaine addiction. He talked about it in Nights. He talks about it in this one. He said noses on a rail. I think I forgot what song he said in an earlier song. I think on Skyline 2. But I mean, just the way that his wordplay. He said you left when I forgot to speak, so I text the speech, lesser speeds, Texas speed, yes. And so it's just like, Yeah, Frank is cold, man. But he's just talking about like just dropping somebody off that he loves, and he says, I care for you still and I will forever. That's my part of the deal. Honest. We got so familiar, spending each day of the year. White Ferrari, good times in this life, One too many years, some tattoo eyelids on a facelift. Mind over matter is magic. I do magic. If you think about it, it'll be over in no time, and that's life. And so just like, I mean, just talking about like how he, you know, he's gonna love this person. He said that's his part of the deal. Like, we have so much. It's like when you get so much history with somebody, it's like you have no choice but to love them. It's like we're in an unsaid agreement. We're in this, you know, no matter what. And that's a different kind of love that you have for somebody. Somebody that you know that you will love through no matter what. But yeah. And talking, I mean, and just the vulnerability of that, just talking about how like I forgot to say, you know, what I need to say to your face, and I've had that before. Like sometimes it's hard to look somebody in the eye and just tell them how much you love them. And so sometimes you just have to do it over text, and you have to send it later. I always find myself to be more eloquent over. I mean, I'm definitely eloquent in person, but it's easier to be a lot more eloquent over a text message. So, but yeah, and so it's just like he said, I'm sure we're taller in another dimension, and I mean that line in itself is so crazy because it's like he's talking about, it's a double entendre because it's like it could be the dimension of the space that we're in, so like the dimension of the room that we're standing in, or he's talking about in another like space dimension. You say we're small and not worth the mention. You're tired of moving, your body's aching. We could vacate, there's places to go. Clearly this isn't all that there is. Can't take what's been given, but we're so okay here. We're doing fine, primal and naked. You dream of walls that hold us in prison. It's just a skull. At least that's what they call it, and we're free to roam. And so like, pretty much saying that, you know, it alludes more to like a love that's not able to completely flourish because they feel like, because they just can't come to an agreement. It's just not the right time, you know, different things like that. And Frank is, you know, trying to show them that, you know, to have what it seems like to have more of an imagination. He said you're tired of moving, your body's aching, we could vacate, there's places to go. Clearly this isn't all that there is. Can't take what's been given, but we're so okay here. We're doing fine, primal and naked. You dream of walls that hold us in prison. It's just a skull, at least that's what they call it, and we're free to roam. So it's like your mind isn't entrapping your thoughts. Your mind isn't entrapping your thoughts. Like, just because physically your brain is the thing that's thinking and it's encapsulated inside your skull doesn't mean that your thoughts are just completely contained and different things like that. And I don't think there's ever really a way to completely understand an artist's lyrics, but I mean completely and fully. But I think that's just the gist of what I get from it, just reading it. But I mean, in a general sense, it's just the song is just talking about just loving somebody. Just loving somebody no matter what. And love, and that love being able to endure different obstacles and stuff like that. And then lastly, you have, then you have Siegfried. My other favorite song with Pink. Like, I love this song and Pink Plus White, just the same. And Siegfried is so heavy, man. He talks about, really Siegfried is all about being able to, well, it kind of goes into his personal life, then goes back out to his actual life, and then back to his personal life. And so it's just like, he says, the markings on your surface, your speckled face, Flawed crystals hang from your ears. I couldn't gauge your fears. I can't relate to my peers. I'd rather live outside. I'd rather chip my pride than lose my mind out here. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe I should move and settle. 2 kids in a swimming pool. I'm not brave. I'm not brave. And so pretty much just like, he's talking about pretty much a relationship. He's having a tumultuous time in this relationship where he can't understand where the person is coming from. He said, I couldn't gauge your fears. But he also does a wordplay on that. He said, flawed crystals hang from your ears. I couldn't gauge your fears. Frank is the man. But it's just, he talks about how he's just having this difficult time in this relationship. And then he talks about how he said, I can't relate to my peers. He said, I'd rather live outside. I'd rather chip my pride than to lose my mind out here. So it's like, I'd rather be who I am and be a fool in front of all of you than to not be true to myself and to stay here in this facade. And then he talks about 2 kids in the swimming pool. You know, you talk like, it's like, you know, you got the American dream. It's like the white picket fence, the big house, the kids, the swimming pool in the backyard, the wife and the husband and all that. He's talking about, like, I don't fit into this cookie cutter, image. And so, I mean, it's just, it's so vulnerable and it's so honest. And especially for Frank Ocean, for somebody who has come out in this industry as bisexual, you really think about what that means. What that means for him as somebody who is in the LGBTQIA community and who is having to deal with, this society that doesn't really cater to people of lifestyles that it's not accustomed to. And it's crazy to think about. Like, it's very honest. It's very honest, the song. And me myself, being someone who has always grown up, being picked on for being the big guy and, feeling isolated and feeling like nobody ever, thought how I did, and not necessarily that I was better than anyone, but it was just like, just feeling so alone, and I think when you don't have anybody to bounce your thoughts off of, you start to think that some of your thoughts are unique, and I mean, some of them are, some of them aren't, but anyway, but I think that Frank Ocean just really, I think he really bared it all on this song. And I mean, the song sounds amazing. I'm not gonna play it. I want you guys to really listen to it if you haven't already. But yeah, Siegfried just talks about just not being able to fit in. But then you have Godspeed, where he kind of, at the end of the day, he kind of wishes, and what sounds like an ode to everybody he's ever loved. He's like, I just give you Godspeed, and glory, and all that. And then you got Future Free, where pretty much Frank is just stunting. He talks about, how he used to struggle and he used to go through all this shit, and how he used to make minimum wage, but now he's doing his thing and he's stunning on all his haters. He kind of took a moment just to kind of stun on all his haters and show people it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Like, I'm renowned. Like, I put out an album, it went crazy. I had people fiending for the next 4 years for the shit that I was gonna do. I've written songs for some of your favorite artists. I've been on some of your favorite. I've been in some of your favorite most recent events in music. My name is Frank Ocean, bitch, and I killed this shit. Yeah, this album is amazing, y'all. And I know sometimes I seem a little scatterbrained, but it's just like it's so dense and it's so deep. And I think, and being a poet myself, I think sometimes there's just gonna be some things that that the listener just isn't gonna get unless they are that person. But you have perfect. You have. I think that's the great thing about art is you have the free that the artist kind of gives you, unless they're blatant about what they're saying, which sometimes they are. They kind of give you, you know, license to kind of take what they say and just take it based off of interpretation. And it's just like, okay, that's what you got from it. Good. That's what you got from it. You keep it. You take that. And so, but yeah, this album was amazing to me. Despite opinions or whatever, it should be amazing to you. Frank Ocean, Blonde. This album is amazing, y'all. Thank you for watching. I got more recent shit coming up. I want to tell y'all. Oh, let me give y'all some tracks. I'm gonna give y'all some tracks.
Fucking Madison exists. How ridiculous is that? That's
shut up. Sorry, y'all. Genius is fucking up. But anyway, I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna give y'all some shit to look at. I'm gonna tell y'all some shit I've been fucking with recently. That Ty Dolla $ign, So Am I. That's my shit. Like, listen to this song, y'all.
Somebody you can call on. Can call on when you need it done right. If you're looking for a real one, so am I.
Ty Dolla $ign is the shit. This nigga got Beach House 3, the album coming out. That shit is gonna be hard as hell. I can't wait for it. You got Win by Q Money. It's an EP. It's got a song on it called Work. I don't know how well y'all can see that. But this song is hard.
Look like skirt, move, work. That's that work. Work. Show me you get murdered. Got this out the dirt. Yeah. And I'm whipping work. Yeah. I'm back though, what you mad for? Don't be mad, ho, get glad, ho. Remember when I tried to fuck you in the past, ho? Huh? Now you hit me up, I just laugh, ho. I'm from the Ave though, that's a blast though. Didn't I tell you I was on these rappers' eyes though? Don't make me pull up, cause you know I'm gonna scrap.
Anyway, so there's that one. Nick Hakim, Green Twins. You definitely need to listen to Needy Bees. I don't know if y'all see the star by that. That album is amazing, literally sex on a record. Let me see. I'm gonna be talking about Lil Uzi Vert's Love Is Rage 2. Gotta get on that one. Oh, Charlotte Dos Santos. Her album Cleo. Charlotte Dos Santos. Please listen to this album. It's so fucking good. I'm gonna do ASAP Ferg, Still Striving. Oh, y'all gotta listen to my boy Hood Rich Pablo Juan, South Dark. Yeah, that nigga on his way. That nigga just got signed by Gucci. I gotta do a review for Smino. That's gonna be a long ass review. I don't know if y'all heard Smino Black Swan. Y'all need to listen to this record. This record literally sounds like nothing else. Nothing else. This kid's ability, Smino's the future. I'm gonna do a Smino review pretty soon. Smino's the man. Oh, Buddy, you gotta listen to Shine. Listen to Shine by Buddy. Great inspirational song. Let me see, what else? Those are just some things that I've been listening to. Oh, things I'm getting ready. Oh, Kalela, Let Me Know. I don't know if y'all, Kalela coming out with a new album. That shit coming out in October. She dropped Let Me Know, LMK. She need to go ahead and let another one of these songs loose. This record got 14 tracks on it. I can't wait for it. October. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all a lot. Thank y'all for looking. Thank y'all for watching me. Be looking for my next review coming real soon. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all like, share, subscribe. Peace.
La 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 la. Inspired by women, say that I treat them different. I don't see no difference. Shawty, my aim is different. DC, my English iffy. Solo, I